Your body moves through the day like it's supposed to, brushing teeth, answering messages, showing up where you're expected. From the outside, you look fine. You even manage to smile. But inside, your mind is worn down like a tire that's been spinning on ice. You feel heavy in places people can't see. Not physically, mentally, emotionally. It's not a loud kind of tired, not the kind that makes you collapse. It's a silent exhaustion, the kind that quietly drains you while you continue to function. Overthinking isn't just about worrying too much. It's the constant loop of reliving moments that should have passed already, picking them apart, trying to fix them after the fact. You try to find meaning, answers, clues, something you missed the first time. It's like your brain is stuck in a room with mirrors, and every thought just reflects a slightly different version of the same doubt. Did you come off too strong? Too quiet? Too fake? The thoughts don't wait for you to be ready. They show up in the middle of a sentence, during laughter, in the seconds before sleep. You try to rest, but sleep doesn't erase the thinking. You close your eyes, and the darkness becomes a stage for your brain to replay everything. The awkward conversations, the things you didn't say, the things you shouldn't have. And when you finally wake up, it's like you never stopped running. Because overthinking is like sprinting on a treadmill that never turns off. It doesn't matter how still you are on the outside, your mind is moving all the time. Sometimes you find small escapes. Music, a funny video, scrolling endlessly. Anything that can drown out your own head. And it works for a while. But silence is always waiting. The moment the music ends, or you're alone again, it floods back in. Louder, stronger, smarter even. Like it learned your patterns and knows how to trap you better this time. So you smile. You make jokes. You nod along in conversations. And all the while, your brain is scanning every word, every face, every tiny shift in tone. Did they mean that? Were they annoyed? Are they bored of you? You don't want to care. You wish you didn't care. But your brain won't stop checking. Won't stop warning you. Even when you're surrounded by people, there's this second reality running in the background, a mental audit. You could be laughing, but your brain is still filing away doubts. Still wondering if they're faking their laugh. If they're just being polite. If you belong here at all. And the worst part? You can't explain it without sounding dramatic or needy or broken. So you don't explain. You just carry it quietly. That's the hardest part. The invisibility. People see you as calm, quiet, maybe a little shy. They don't know you're holding back a storm. That the reason you're quiet isn't because you have nothing to say. It's because your brain has already said too much. It said everything over and over until you're too tired to speak. You try so hard to be okay, to act normal, to seem fine. And in doing that, you drain yourself even more. Because pretending to be calm while your mind is racing is one of the most exhausting things you can do. You don't look tired. But you are. And not in a way rest can fix. You're tired in a way only peace could fix. And peace is the one thing your brain won't allow. So you keep going, carrying the weight in silence. Smiling when expected. Nodding when appropriate. Quiet on the outside. Chaos within. You stare at a message long after you've read it. Not because it's confusing, but because your mind won't leave it alone. You analyze the tone, the timing, the punctuation. You wonder if a period means anger or if a LOL was forced. You scroll back to reread your own words, checking if you sounded weird, too dry, too eager. You start typing a reply, then stop, delete, rewrite. You read it as if you're the other person trying to guess how it might land. Then you hesitate, wait a few minutes before hitting send, because maybe sending too fast looks desperate, or maybe waiting too long looks cold. Nothing is simple. Everything has weight. And it doesn't stop with texts. You rehearse conversations before they ever happen. Going over how you'll say something, how they might respond, what you'll say if they don't understand. You act out both parts of the exchange in your mind, like you're writing a script. You try to predict reactions, defuse tension before it exists, plan apologies before mistakes are even made. It's not just about preparing, it's about control. Or at least the illusion of it. You want to avoid the awkward silence, the sting of rejection, the feeling of saying the wrong thing and realizing it too late. Then, after it's over, you replay it again. Word for word. You catch moments where you laughed too hard, where you hesitated, where you missed a chance to say something smarter or kinder or braver. You edit it in your mind like a director not satisfied with the first take. Only there's no chance to reshoot. It's done. But your mind keeps going, anyway. You remember things other people don't. Not because they were significant, but because your brain tags everything as important. That glance they gave you when they thought you weren't looking. The way they said your name. A pause before they answered. You store these moments like files in a cabinet, taking them out at random to study under new light. Maybe they meant something. Maybe they didn't. But you can't stop analyzing them. You want to know. You want to be sure. People think overthinking is just a personality trait. Something harmless. But it's not just a quirk. It's a habit, one you never chose, but one that's settled into your life like breathing. It's automatic now. Invisible from the outside. To others, you're just quiet or thoughtful or in your own head. But inside, your thoughts are rapid, tangled, relentless. What looks like stillness is actually a storm. What looks like focus is actually fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of being too much, or not enough. Fear of being forgotten, or remembered in the wrong way. You know it's too much. You know your brain is working overtime on things that probably don't matter. But even that turns into another thought spiral. You think about how you think too much. You wonder what's wrong with you, why you can't let things go, why your mind won't just be quiet for once. It's not that you want to overthink. You just don't know how not to. So you carry it all, the rehearsals, the rewrites, the tiny signals you catch and question. You do it in silence, in private, in moments of pause. And no one notices, because overthinking hides itself well. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It smiles. It passes for politeness, carefulness, self-awareness. But beneath all that, it's a habit built on fear. A survival instinct disguised as personality. And it's exhausting. You've lived with this pattern for so long that it's hard to imagine any other way. The constant scanning, the mental rehearsals, the endless inner commentary. It's your normal. You don't even question it most days. You just accept that your brain runs fast, that your thoughts loop, that you dissect things no one else even noticed. You've told yourself that everyone must do this too, that maybe they're just better at hiding it. But sometimes you catch glimpses of how different your mind really is. You watch people forget things easily. They move on from awkward moments, brush off misunderstandings, sleep deeply. They don't spiral at night wondering if they offended someone 3 weeks ago with a careless joke. They don't replay a short conversation 10 different ways. They don't write a message and stare at the screen for 5 minutes before sending it. You wonder what it feels like to live with that kind of lightness, to let go without guilt, to exist without over-explaining. And sometimes the envy stings. But then a quieter thought settles in. Maybe this way of being isn't something to hate. Maybe your overthinking is tied to something tender. You care. You care deeply. You feel things before they're spoken. You notice tone shifts. You remember details that made someone else feel seen. You want to do things right. You want to understand, to connect, to make others feel safe. That kind of awareness isn't a flaw. It's a form of intelligence, of empathy. It's exhausting, yes, but it's also beautiful. Still, caring this much shouldn't cost you your peace. You deserve to rest, to have moments where your brain isn't a battleground. You deserve to exist without justifying your every thought. You deserve quiet that doesn't feel like a threat, silence that doesn't echo with doubt. You deserve to breathe, freely, gently, without having to earn it through constant mental effort. And maybe peace doesn't come from forcing your thoughts to stop. Maybe it comes from stepping back, just a little, from watching them without engaging, without reacting, like watching clouds drift across the sky. You don't have to judge them, don't have to chase them, just let them pass. A thought can be just a thought, not a warning, not a prediction, not a truth, just a temporary visitor in the space of your mind. Because that's the quiet truth at the heart of it all. You are not your thoughts. You are the one noticing them, the awareness behind them. You are the sky, not the weather. And thoughts, no matter how intense, always pass. So maybe tonight, when your brain starts spinning, you can meet it with gentleness instead of resistance. Let the spiral loosen. Let the urgency fade. Remind yourself that not everything needs to be solved right now. That your worth isn't measured by how well you prepare for every possible moment. That it's okay to rest, even if your mind says you haven't earned it. Maybe you won't fix everything tonight. Maybe you'll still think too much. But that's okay too. Healing isn't a flip of a switch. It's a soft returning. To stillness. To trust. To self-kindness. So breathe. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You're allowed to just be here now in this breath. And that truly is enough.